Hello, it's Paul, and welcome to Visit Paul Daily. Today's been a bit of an unusual day, so tonight is completely off the cuff. I've not had a chance to make any notes today because my friend Bob came over in a lovely car, an estate car that his daughter had purchased while they were over from Australia, and now they've gone back to Australia. I think they went back sooner than they planned. The car's up for sale again now, so as my background is in the motor trade, obviously he's come over to get me to polish the car, make it look nice, make a video of the car, which we did. And we've just stopped off at my local pub, which is the Wheel in Branston, which is not far from Grantham. And we thought, all right, we'll just have one quick drink and go home. And it doesn't go that way, does it? Because the landlord Dave is really nice, and he said, "Oh, you know, we've got a new chef in, Paul. Would you like to be a guinea pig?" And I said, "Well, yeah, it all depends." He said, "We've got a new curry." And as soon as he said that, I thought, okay, it looks like I'm not going to cook tonight after all. So we've just had the most amazing korma curry, and it was just beautiful with little bits of fruit and everything in it. So that's going to be new on the menu. So it's quite nice being a guinea pig. But I drop bread. As you know, I work for a bakery, and we do have a certain amount of we call it business waste, which is a shame. So I bring actually some of that bread here, and I give bread out to my local villagers where I live in the next village up, and I try and help the villagers in this area, in the area of Branston. So I've done that. So in the pub, the little porchway as you walk into the pub, there's a row of bread there, but I've actually got a little stand there now, which is really nice, and it says Paul's Free Bread. I thought, how lovely is that, you know? So I only moved into this area on the 8th of August, but I really feel like I've settled in and fit in now, which is lovely, you know, for a small village, which is great. But it's quite weird that I'm sitting here at the pub and in the garden, and it's just that my friend Bob said, "What time is it?" I said, "I don't know. It's got to be 5 o'clock." I said, "Oh no, it's 6 o'clock." And I thought, I haven't done my video yet. I haven't made any notes. I'm not prepared. He said, "Oh, just go in the garden out the back. You'll be all right off the cuff." And but today's video really is about how are people going to manage over the next month or two when all the prices go up. So it really, this video is really about what I've done in the last 12 months to cut back, because everyone's cutting back, and it doesn't matter what kind of job you've got, really. Even if it's a well-paid job, there's still too much month at the end of the money. You know, it's hard for people, and people are struggling. And in this country, here in the UK, we're going to have a really big increase of about 80% increase in our electricity bills. Now, they did say it was going to be 80%, and that would have taken it to somewhere in the region of 6,000 a year, which seems absolutely ridiculous. Let me just turn this around. The colour's not very good. That does seem ridiculous that it's gone from, you know, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 a year up to 6,000 a year or more. But our new Prime Minister's just done a cap on that, and she's capped it at 2,500. But for many people, they're going from £750 to £800 a year as an average electricity bill to straight to 2,500. And the reality is, how are people going to cope? Because our wages are not going up, and everything else is going up with it. Gas is going up, council tax is going up too. The fuel, the duty on the fuel has actually just gone down, so we are noticing that petrol and diesel is going down slightly, but everything else is just going up. It's just getting ridiculous. So, you know, sometimes people aren't really talking about this, but it's something I talk about, and I talk about it with people, and they go, "We just don't know what we're going to do," you know. And it's thanks to you, because you bring us free bread, you know, every day or every other day, and we're really grateful for that. You know, I said, well, it's going to go to waste. You know, some of it goes to some of it does go to food banks and things like that, but other than that, it goes to the pigs and it goes to waste. So I try and get as much as I possibly can to help people in my local village. It's an area where a lot of people are retired, so it's a lot of pensioners, and we are in one direction 8 miles from the main shopping area, from a town, and in the other area we're 9.5 miles. So it's tough, you know. There isn't a little local shop. There's local pub, and that's it. So if they haven't got transportation, which I know most of them haven't, you know, they rely on people, you know, helping out on people like me, you know, with my bread, you know, and my company's lovely to help me with that, and you know, they're happy with that, which is quite nice, to let me have that and take that and distribute it rather than it go to waste. But over the last year, this is just from my perspective, what can you do to cut back if you can't make any more money? We can't ignore these bills going to go up. How are you going to cope with that? So what I've done in the last year is I changed my car. Now, most people have a car, but you've got to ask the question, do I need that car? Yes, I need a set of wheels and I need to get to work and back, but, do I need that one? If it's on finance, do you need a car that's on finance? If you sold it or got rid of it or handed it back or whatever and bought a cheaper one, would that do? And for many people, it would. I had a bad car crash last year, and I loved the car I had, but that wasn't financed. There wasn't a great deal left on it. But by the time the settlement got sorted with the insurance company, and I paid the £1,200 owing that was on the finance, it didn't leave me a lot. So I had to put a few £100s to it to get a car that was, suitable. Really, it was, it didn't replace what I had, but it would have done if I hadn't have had the finance. The money I got back from the payout would have got me a similar sort of car. But because of the finance, I had to have something less than I really wanted. So I bought this Citroen, and it was okay. It wasn't a bad car, and the road tax was £30 a year, which is quite good, and it was averaging maybe 55 to the gallon. And then I started to look around. I thought, well, yes, I need another car, but do I need that car? So I started looking around for something different, and I got a little Volvo. It's a little Volvo C30. So at least there's no finance on it. It's bought and paid for. But that car has got zero road tax. So, yes, £30 a year is good, but zero is better, right? And also, because it's a diesel, 1.6 diesel, I'm very gentle with the way I drive. I've spent many years as a chauffeur. I don't tear around everywhere. I change gear in reasonable time. I just rest my foot on the throttle and everything. Landlady waving to me, and then I just drive easy. So according to my computer on the car, I'm averaging something like 68 to 69 miles to the gallon, which is really good. So just changing the car made a big difference. Yes, I needed a car, but did I need that car? No, I need something different. So that might be something you can look at. Change your car to something that's more economical. If you're paying £190 a year tax or over £200 a year road tax, well, think of a car that's going to be £30 a year road tax. So at the time when I had my previous car, I was paying something like £17 or £18 a month. I paid my road tax monthly. So when I got a car that was only £30, it was lovely to say, well, I can just pay the £30 and I'm done for the whole year. And it made a difference, it's something I didn't have to budget for. So that was one thing I did. The other thing I did was what the government keeps saying, well, don't go to certain supermarkets that are going to charge more, go to the other supermarkets. So I shop at the German supermarkets, I shop in Aldi and Lidl and stuff like that. So I don't shop at Waitrose, and I'd love to, and I don't shop at Marks & Spencer, I'd love to. But the other brands now, with those two shops, they've changed a lot in their brands and their foods and what they prepare. It's actually really good, high quality for a very low price. So I know what I'm getting with that. So I've changed for that. I think, well, what else can I change? And then recently, I cut back on my bills every year. Between the Christmas and New Year period, I normally go through my bank and then look at all my direct debits and say, right, why am I paying £32 for that? If it's for my phone, can I get a better deal? Why am I paying that much for the RAC? Why am I paying that much for house insurance? Oh, I've just moved and I haven't changed my house insurance. Well, I should change it because I've got a smaller property now, so it'll go down. And sometimes we just forget those simple little things that if we changed and just looked in our bank and look at our direct debits and the things we're paying out, why are we paying £38 a month for something when we could be paying £28? And it does add up, when you start cutting back and think, well, I've just cut back by £68 this month. Well, that was good. That was worth a few minutes' time going through it. But what I also cut back on recently is I've noticed the food prices have gone up. In England, we have a guy called Martin Lewis, and he's a money expert, and he's really good at helping people save money and where to get certain things and energy companies, and it gives you good advice. But Martin is very frustrated at the moment because he said, I can't give you any more advice because it's out of my hands. The government aren't doing what I've asked them to do. They're not following my advice and cutting back on certain things, and they're not stopping these companies putting up the bills so high. Yes, we've got a capping on the electric, but what about the gas? What about the council tax? What about other stuff the water's going to go up? Everything is going to go up. but wages are not going to go up. They've just announced today on the news that the minimum wage will be going up soon by £1. You know, it's not going to. It doesn't keep with inflation, because inflation is just going through the roof, which is crazy. So I happened to notice recently that my waistline isn't what it used to be. So and I thought, you know, when I put these trousers on, I thought, have I had these trousers a long time, or have they just shrunk in the wash, as men do, you know? And it's not. Now, I've now become middle-aged. I've aged around the middle, and that's the reality of it. I eat too much, and I think most of us do. You get to a normalisation. I have these lovely oval plates that I have my dinner on, and I think, right, I want something with rice, so I just open a packet of rice, and, you know, I have the whole packet, and it's quite a lot of rice, and then I'll put a curry on top or a chilli on top or something, and then I have this huge looking meal. And by the time I've waded myself through that meal, I'm puffing and blowing and thinking, well, it was a lovely meal, but I'm now overly full. Did I need that? No. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was having that kind of meal midweek, and I thought, I'm not going to have a whole packet of rice, I'll just have half. So I had a half packet of rice. I made my curry up and put all my. I make a curry from scratch, and I put that in. And I thought, I'll just have half an hour. And I actually just took a photograph of it, just for my own records, if you like. And I thought, well, it's still actually quite a large-looking meal, and I enjoyed it, and I wasn't puffing and blowing, and I was full. And I thought, I've actually just halved my food. And if I did that for 30 days, I've halved my food bill. Now, in reality, we wouldn't do that for 30 days. But you do it for 10. You do it for 15 days out of the month. You know, if you cut back on the food, and I've often said to people that said, oh, I want to lose weight. I said, well, the easiest way to lose weight is not so much go on a diet. They do work, but people find them tiresome. They don't like diets. So the other way is to have a smaller plate. Eat the same food, the same colour, the same meal that you normally have, but just a smaller amount, because you just want to see the food. You just want to see the colour. You want to experience that. If you it's a spaghetti bolognese, you still want a spaghetti bolognese, but it doesn't have to be a huge mound. And the weight will gradually come off because we're just getting better habits. And a lot of this is just habit forming. And you know what they say about habits? Bad habits are hard to break, is what they say. Well, so is a good habit. A good habit's hard to break. If you do something for 20 to 30 days, you keep doing it. It's actually quite simple. It's a good habit. So I've started to do that. And this week I've been doing it. I said, well, my friend Bob, who I'm with at the moment in the pub there, he's got a rare breed pig business. And last week he dropped me off some free-range sausages, which were just fabulous. And I thought, well, instead of having 3 or 4, because they're quite large, I don't need 3 or 4. I had 2. So by the time I had that with some potatoes and veg, I had a lovely looking meal that tastes really nice, but I had 2 sausages. I wasn't, as I said, pigging out. You know, didn't need to have that much. You know, so that's what I've done over the last year. But I don't have a garden where I live, but I'm at the end of the road. There is a massive allotment, and I am thinking, you know, because I've got a life change, you know, now I've moved, that there's people over there that I've got to know and got to meet. So perhaps some of those could teach me how to grow things. Now, if you've got a garden, do you want it just to have a lawn, or is it something you could have a little section where you could grow runner beans, you could grow potatoes, you can grow strawberries, you can grow something, you know? So the shops are definitely getting more expensive. I've noticed that my shopping, for the same type of shopping that I go out, what I call a big shop, it's increased by about £23 compared to what it used to be. And on the program we have called the One Show the other week, they were showing that the manufacturers are also being quite sneaky, and they're not telling us. So you look on the shelf and you can have something that says such and such butter, and it's the same price. You think, okay, I'll buy that because that hasn't gone up. I'll grab that. And when you get home, you realise that the butter isn't 500 grams like it always is. It's 450 grams. So they've cut back. And then a family might get these snacks where they get these like treats with 5 bars or something for 180. Well, when they get home and open it up, there's not 5 bars in there, there's 4, but it's still 180. So it's not just the shops putting the prices up, it's actually the manufacturers changing the packaging and giving us less for our money, but they're keeping the price the same. So we think we're buying what we normally buy, but actually we're not. So we're actually we're going more because we're running out of food quicker, So it is a bit of a trick out there. You've got to look for that sort of thing. But there are ways to cut back. I say just quickly, look at the car you've got. Do you need that car? Is it a status symbol or is it just a work vehicle to get you to and fro? My dad had a lovely old saying, it's second-rate transport's better than first-rate walking. Get in or get walking, So I like my little Volvo. It's nice. It's actually a better build quality than the Citroen that I had. You shut the doors and it's nice. It's got cream interior. It's got lots of things, there's extras in it, and it's lovely and smooth. And it does the perfect job for me. It's nice, and it's got a strong build. It's nice. And I say it's very good on diesel, and it's free road tax. So you can actually go online and just look at what cars are £30 a year, £20 a year. Free road tax. They don't always have to be new cars. Mine certainly isn't. So that's one area you could maybe look at cutting back. I'm not sure about public transport. If you're looking at paying for public transport, if you pay in advance, because I think generally trains are still quite expensive. So that side of it, I wouldn't know. What can help on that. But certainly that cutting back on that and on the food and things like that and treats. I'm not really I like sweet things, but I'm not really a sweet person where I don't buy lots of crisps and things. I know people do. My ex-partner used to buy loads of crisps and sweets, and I think, there's just all these packets. And I know a lot of the younger generation do that as well, and it's all very fatty for a start. But it's actually rubbish. It's not nutritious. It's not nice. It's not even pleasant tasting, really. So if you look in your cupboard, are you buying lots of these Pringles and all this sort of stuff with dips and things? And I was thinking when I was driving this morning, I was thinking about treats, and it reminded me when I was a kid. My dad used to come in and he'd get a plate and he'd buy a Mars bar, and he would cut that Mars bar into 8 slices. So there'd be 2 for me, 2 for my brother Tim, 2 for my mum and 2 for him. Do you remember that, Tim? I bet you do. I do. And it was like a real treat, and he'd come in with this thing and we'd all have our 2 pieces and we wouldn't rush it, and we were full. We'd had that sweet taste and we'd had a treat, and it cost next to nothing. But now if you look at people when they go shopping, if you actually just glance to the basket next to you when they're pushing the trolley, it's full of all this stuff, and it's not full of meals. It's not full of stuff that you want to eat. It's full of rubbish, and because it looks like a treat. Well, could you cut back on the treats? Maybe, then that could work. And there are also I've done it this week with various suppliers. I've made sure, especially with the energy one, with the electricity, because I'm new to moving into where I am. And I said, look, you've just already given me a bill for £65 and I've not been here long. I do not want to be on a standard tariff. I want to be on a much better tariff than a standard tariff. I need to be on a fixed tariff, especially before you put it up on the 1st of October. So we've agreed that, and we've agreed at £47 a month. I said, that sounds great. So if I can keep it under £50 a month, that would be brilliant. Obviously, my gas is separate, and that's in a tank in the village, but that didn't seem too expensive. But we don't really know what's coming on the 1st of October, because everything seems to be going up from the 1st of October. And today's the 22nd of September. It's not long. So that's why I wanted today's topic to be different from what I did yesterday and the day before, because I think it's on everyone's mind. And who's talking about it, and what is there that we can cut back on, and what is there that we could do, and things like that. I mean, I've actually offered in the village on we've got our own little Facebook group. I offered it 2 weeks ago, and I said, look, I'm going to be going to Melton Mowbray to do my main shop. I've got 3 extra seats in my car. Does anybody want to come? I'm actually one of those unusual men that like shopping. I don't mind if it's food, clothes, shoes. I don't mind. I like shopping. I like the experience of it. I said, so I've got 3 spare seats. So if anybody wants to come, meet me at our village hall at 3 o'clock. I'm leaving at 3:15, and I could take you shopping. On this first occasion, nobody did, and they said, oh no, we've already been. And some people said, I would have gone if it was last week. So I said, I'll do it again. Next time I do a big shop, I'll just mention it. But we could car share. And the other thing about car sharing is you're talking to people. So what are you doing? You're having a visit, right? And I got some lovely feedback today. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but when I go into my YouTube, I don't always get to see the feedbacks, because there was 22 people left messages when I looked at it this morning. But I saw some of the messages. I went back into it, and it's just a blank page. It wouldn't show me the messages. So It's lovely that you leave messages, and I do want to answer everyone that leaves a message there. And there was a lovely one this morning from Dave I think Dave's in Australia, Dave Piggott, and he said that he'd listened to my message yesterday about getting in touch with people after he'd been listening to me, my little section, and he contacted a friend, and they're going to meet at the weekend and have a drink and have a beer. Then after that, they're going to make a point of regularly meeting up. And he said, this visits idea is really good, and I've heard that from several people. They said it's making us think. Actually, it's making us think: who are we not talking to? Who haven't we seen for a while? Why haven't we seen them for a while? So today I'm going to ask for your help. This is something that I wanted to put together, that my good old mentor Jim Rohn put together, and said, I think you could do this, and I'm now doing it. So come and help me. Pass that message on. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe and click the notification button, so the bell, so whenever I do a video you will get notified. And just share these ideas. The world's full of ideas, and we haven't got all the best ideas, but we've got some, haven't we? So if we can share that, we can actually get something going where people are actually starting to talk together and say, well, when's the last time we saw them? When's the last time we actually said hello? Not just a Christmas card that's coming up. Let's have a video call. I mean, Bob said today, he said the best thing we can do is not call, it's not text, it's video call. Let's get on the video call. Tonight we've got a webinar with our main primary business. We've got a webinar tonight at 8 o'clock, and I was watching the 360 webinar. Well, I was listening to the 360 webinar this morning while I was working. And it was a really good one yesterday, and there was some really exciting news on there. So if you're a founder listening to this in our business, 8 p.m. tonight, you need to be on that webinar, because there's going to be some good news from our CEO Ash tonight. And we're getting close. We're getting really close to launching them. When we do, we can start having video calls with our own products, and they'd be better, faster, clearer, and certainly cheaper for most people. So that's me done for today. I just wanted to cover that today. The topic was, how can we possibly look at different ways to save money? But if you are going to leave some comments underneath in the YouTube video, that's great. But I don't always get to see them. I'd love to, and I will answer you. If not, please send those comments to my email address, which is incomedriven@gmail.com. And if you've got a subject that you'd like me to possibly talk about, anything to do with maybe businesses that I've been in the past. I said I've been in the motor trade, I've had my own classic car sales business, I've had a wedding car business, done various different things. If you've got a subject that you say, well, what about this? Can you talk about that? It might be something that I can, and I'll make some notes for it, and then let's talk about things that you want to talk about, not just what I want to talk about. So anyway, thank you very much for coming to visit me today, and I'm going to visit you tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's Friday, and then I'm working tomorrow and Saturday, and then I've actually taken some holiday. So from Saturday I'll actually be off work until the 5th of October, so quite a few days off. And I have already apologised in advance to all my 2 little villages that I look after. I'm not going to be able to supply them with free bread and cakes and scones and cheese sticks because I'm not going to be at work, but I'll soon be back. But it'll be nice to do a bit of reading. I can catch up on preparing some more of these videos, because obviously I've got to have something to say, so, but I can assure you, a lot of people will take the mickey at me, especially my daughters. Oh, you talk too much, Daddy, but I can promise you this: I know more than I'm saying. There's more in here than I'm letting on. I've been around a long time. So thank you very much for visiting me today, and come and see me tomorrow, because I'm going to come and see you tomorrow. So thanks very much. I've got to get back to Bob now. He should be finishing his coffee now, and then we've got to get back and get ready for our fabulous webinar at 8 o'clock tonight. So thanks for today, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.